Morning, just about to start the first day. Having some tea and loads. We'll see what happens. So this is the spot in Lodz, the Lodz ghetto, where Rumkowski said his famous speech of "Give me your children." This is a very tough spot. I don't know in that situation. It's very easy for me to say, it's not happening. I have two kids who are under 10, so to put them on a truck, I don't see how that's possible, but it's very easy for me to think that way or judge that way from my place, being American in 2019. But yeah, this place it's hit me pretty hard having two young kids. This massive Jewish cemetery, all from pre-war, shows that there was a huge Jewish population in Poland, and now it's something like 20,000. This is all pre-war stuff. So behind me is the post-war part of the cemetery. 40,000 graves or so, just a little plaque, and you can see the difference between pre-war Jewish cemetery and those from the ghetto in Lodz and the war. This was the train station at Lodz, who would take them to Chemlo and eventually Auschwitz when the ghetto was being liquidated.
From his real David, how could you be singing at this moment that you responded?
At the Lodz train station, I'm here. I'm the only non-Jew who's on this trip, and so my thoughts on this, I guess, are gonna be different. The people I'm with they're all in a train car right now, singing and taking it all in, and I stepped out and I wanted to be on the outside because I'm German. This is where I would be. So I'm processing this and trying to deeply understand how this happened and where does that start? And then this trip is kind of seeing where bad ideas lead. So, yeah. Seeing students of mine and people I'm very close to through barbed wire with them in the train car was something that I want to just process. So that's where we're at. Chelmno, which is the extermination camp that used trucks and the exhaust fumes from the trucks to take them from the location about 4 kilometers down the road to this spot. Minimum 180,000 people were buried here or burned here in this field. So a lot of the kids and rabbis are collecting bone fragments and burying them to give them a burial. This is the spot. There's a memorial here, and it's just a field out in the middle of the woods. I'm at Chelmno. This was the extermination camp that took people from the Lodz ghetto and other places and put them on trucks. And the trucks used the exhaust pipe to go in the back of the truck and kill people on a 4-kilometer road to here. So we were driving on the same road that people were suffocating on, and then they came here and there were mass graves. And there's minimum 180,000 people, could be as high as 300,000 people were buried and burned in this clearing in the woods, and it's just in the middle of like a forest in Poland. There's still bone fragments all over on the ground. This is the first day, the first full day here, and this is the first like extermination camp type thing that I'm seeing, and just trying to take it all in. You know, it's eerie, but it's also beautiful. Like it's just like we're in nature, and then you're not realizing like what's kind of beneath you here. The memorials here are beautiful, and you know, people are here paying respects and burying pieces of bone and things like that. I'm kind of at a loss for words right now, but I'm gonna think about it. Have like a 5-hour bus ride now to the next spot, so I don't really know what to say. So it's morning of the, I guess, second day. Like, jet lag, so it's kind of blending together. But I got up with the sun, which is great. Going out for a run. I saw this cool castle, so I'm gonna run to that. It's it right there. Really beautiful stuff. And I like in a new city to get up and go for a run through it. I feel like you get a good feel for the city. So gonna do that before the touring all starts, and I can get kind of preparing myself through some positivity to get ready for some of the negativity. I fasted for about 24 hours, a little over 24 hours, and then had a big meal. I actually had a Shabbat meal last night, which was kind of a first, and it was awesome. Really took that in, and not running off some of that challah, which is the bread. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. This is really beautiful. You can see that. I mean, great way to start the day. I think I have a lot of gratitude also, hearing what I did yesterday, listening to some pretty terrible stuff with Christopher Browning while running, and the juxtaposition between the two is interesting. But this is beautiful. It's a beautiful city. I'm in the ghetto part right now, right here. This right there, that wall is where people were lined up and killed as there was getting moved around and stuff like that. They used that wall for firing lines, and people are just here drinking and having a good time now. There's just a kid playing. It's just a lot of history right in the middle of all of this. So I'm at Auschwitz 1. I don't want to take away from the experience from the people I'm with and everything, but I just left the part where they have all the shoes and the hair and things like that piled up, and that hit me in a way that nothing else so far has. Just the volume, the numbers. It's really been affecting me. Coming on to this area, it feels like you're entering like a college campus or something, and then you go through the story and you see photographs and things like that. But just the volume of just destruction. I thought I prepared myself. Yeah, you can't prepare for it. I'll show pictures. It doesn't matter. Was just in this one, and it was a lot of drawings from little kids, and the kid stuff hits me especially hard. Seeing shoes that are the size of my 4-year-olds and 2-year-olds. All I keep thinking, and I'll process this later, but all I keep thinking is there's nothing more important than preventing this inhumanity. The things like this. This is the extreme. This is the worst it gets. So how do we, stop that, nip it in the bud? And that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I've never been more motivated to do that, and that's what I keep hearing the point of this, and to figure it out as well. To really look at this like a puzzle and try and solve how this happened in a real way. It's very different being here. I'm at Auschwitz-Birkenau. Storm's rolling in. It's very fitting. I think the weather's about to match the environment we're in. So the storm hit. It started to hail. It was pretty bad, and I ran back to get some jackets before it started, and then it hit real bad. And now I'm back at the bus. Students and most of the people I'm with are back out there. Just gonna let it sit for a little bit, but makes it an adventure, I suppose. So on the bus and driving about 3 hours. A lot of people are sleeping and stuff. I'm just looking at the Poland countryside and reading Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. It's kind of all come together after a day at Auschwitz. It's been a heavy day, so now I'm just relaxing. I'm dry now. I'm reading this book about the place that we just came from. So it's about 11 p.m. Every day is like a 16-hour day. We're at a cemetery now. So yeah, Auschwitz, Birkenau especially, but both of them, Auschwitz 1 and Auschwitz Birkenau, really affected me. And I'm kind of trying to just process it and like live in the discomfort. I've been doing like a fast every day, so I only eat at the end of the day, and I went for a run and stuff, so I've been pretty hungry. And then for dinner tonight, I had just some soup and bread, and I really like enjoyed it. Like I took it wasn't like good quality soup at all, but I really tried to appreciate it, because hearing these stories and watching these people who were starving, like the point of this, and I say this about history class a lot, is you learn history so that you can have gratitude for your present situation. And that's something that I really wanted to apply here. I think it took today to really get me to where I wanted to be for this trip, of getting deep into the worst of humanity. I think it affected me because of just the volume, the scale of this. It's when you take an idea and you take it to the full extent, and this was a bad idea, and you took it to the full extent, and here's what it looks like, and just the scale of it, it just floored me. It's like, whatever, thousands of pounds of hair, and just rooms and rooms of shoes and eyeglasses, and it was too much. I just kept thinking it's too much, as if like 2 pairs of shoes is like not too much. But I've been trying to sit in this feeling, not ignore it, not go on Instagram, or not even check like work emails or anything like that. I send like a video to my kids and my wife, because I don't think I've ever wanted to hug them as much as I did today and do right now. So there's got to be some good that comes from this whole thing, and that's, I guess, what I'm trying to elicit. So appreciation of food, appreciation of the people that you have and what you have and all that. But I'll post pictures, but it doesn't do it justice. I don't know what else to really say. Like I think you have to come here, and I think that you see how hard people wanted to live and had something to live for. And when things are the situation with suicide rates and depression are what they are in America, I come to a place like this, and you see the other extreme of wanting nothing more than to live. And there's something to be learned from that, right? So that's where I'm at. Gonna probably get to sleep in an hour or two, and then up in a few hours. I'm sleeping in like 3 or 4 hour increments. So like I get like an hour on the bus, and then 15 minutes on the bus, and then 3 hours at the hotel or something, and that's what I'm doing. And it's been amazing. It really has. Home sweet home. Morning, 3:15 in the morning. I'm waking up at 7:30. I haven't been on my phone much at all. I was just signed on social media real quick, and I saw someone posted something very polarizing, and I just like responded. And I guess being away from social media has actually been really nice. But being here, I get this idea keep coming up, so I'm gonna share it. And maybe we'll see if it makes sense. But you take an idea, and if you take it to the extreme, what will that look like? Like, what will that look like if you take an idea to all the way? So part of the Auschwitz Museum, they had the rhetoric, the anti-Semitic rhetoric. We need to get Jews out of Europe. So what does that look like? And I saw what it looks like. So you take that to, these people are bad, or this needs to go away, or this is, this is the worst, or that needs to happen. And like, what if people take it seriously? And I think that maybe is something that I want to, why I get so fired up about issues, political issues and stuff like that, is I'm seeing it now of like, well, what if that gets taken to the extreme? What would that look like? Because what this experience is, if nothing else, it is an idea taken to the extreme. An idea that people subscribe to. An idea that people bought into. And we all buy into ideas. And we all scapegoat. And we all blame. And we all lump people into categories and groups. So that's where my head's at. That if you promote an idea, carry it all the way. What if everyone subscribes to that and that goes all the way in that idea? What will that look like? So that's where my head's at. And I'm going to try and go to sleep. But I don't know. We'll see if I'll be able to. I'll see you tomorrow morning. One more thing. This is what I do. This is why I can't sleep at night. Something like, if part of rhetoric is all blanks are this, all blanks should do this, something like that. And then you do that. You do all do that. And then you go, well, I didn't mean all. Be careful, because the Nazis meant all. So be very precise in your language. That's a Jordan Peterson rule. That's important. Be very precise in your language. Carry it out all the way. Be careful with what you say and promote, because it matters. Words matter. Okay. morning. This is my last full day. I'm here in Warsaw on the 19th floor of a nice hotel. Today we're going to do the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising and Treblinka. I think. I don't know. But I'm about to head out. One more full day, another 15-hour day, and then a half day tomorrow, and I fly home. So about to go on a tour. This was a town. The whole town was wiped out. And then now it's being repopulated a little bit, but 0% Jewish here. This was a Jewish town. And one of the security guards, his family owns this restaurant. I was asking him, where can I get some pierogies? I just want to get some pierogies. And he's like, not here. He's like, the stuff here is shit at all these different places. So then he took us to this place, and everyone else is on the tour out in the forest and the mass graves and things like that. And I ducked out because he pulled me aside, went downstairs into the basement here and showed me some of the Jewish memorabilia from before the war and things like that. And then now he's gonna give me my legit pierogies. Very cool, just having a conversation with him. His wife's family lives in this town still. But I really enjoy engaging with the locals and get their side of it as well. It's really, really great. I'm looking forward to the dumplings, the pierogies. I'll take some pictures and talk about it. Oh wow, this is World War I?
Yes, it's a mikvah.
Yeah.
Really, it's a really mikvah because butchers need to
wash.
Wash, yes.
Yeah.
And they were religious.
Supposedly these are all handmade. I'm excited. It's becoming a cooking show now. It's not Americanized. It's not overly flavorful, but you can tell it's all handmade. Like this is made in someone's kitchen. It's good. Well, thank you. He gave me the homemade dumplings and a beer and everything.
I'm happy to enjoy.
All right, thank you, sir. So I'm in a forest outside of Tikhtin, I think is how it's pronounced. It's a small town. There's only 2,000 people here now. There's no Jews here. And it was a town that was bigger than that, several thousand. No less than half the population was Jewish. And in 1941, the Germans came in and had all the Jews come to the town square, load them up on trucks, men, women, children, drove them out here. Mostly women, children, and elderly, and then walked them into this forest and dug mass graves, and then did several kind of truckloads in, had them dig the graves and then shot them. And something like 1.5 million people of the Holocaust. We think so much about the big camps, but at 1.5 million were killed in forests like this. So where I'm going in my head is how I would fight back, which is so American of me, and someone who, is always thinking, I'm looking at sticks, and I'm like, all right, well, I'd use this stick to stab someone in the neck, and then blah, 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 because I just have a totally different mindset and mentality, and I don't know what to think when I'm here, but this is a different kind of feel because it's so secretive, it's so away from everything, it's so no one can see it compared to Majdanek yesterday, which was right off of a main highway at the time, and now it's right next to a city. No one can see what goes on here, and there's just thousands and thousands of bodies, and throughout Poland there's bodies just buried in these forests. I try to put myself in this situation, which isn't fair because of the historical context. So I put myself in this situation at the time, try to. If it was myself, my wife, and my kids, what would I do? And I don't know. I don't know. It's easy to say that I'd fight, go down swinging, but I don't know. But I feel a lot of empathy. And for someone who gets told that I don't have a lot of empathy sometimes, I feel it here. So I'm really trying to feel what they felt and feel what people feel and feel what relatives of some of these people that I'm with are feeling. And just trying to extract lessons and feel in these forests. Today was a really great, I guess, day from experiencing Voltek's wonderful hospitality with his family restaurant and eating the traditional food and things, and then going to this. You know, it felt like Polish life in this small town, and then what happened to this small town. So this is today, and then we're gonna get back on a bus, and in like a couple hours I'm gonna be at Treblinka. So that's today. To add from this forest, the Lupu forest, I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure. 2,400 people were killed, and that's a few hundred less than 9/11 attacks. Killed in one day. One person survived, so that's how they found out about it. But how many of these exist throughout Poland? 2,400 people in 3 mass graves, which aren't even that big. This is a very good representation of what happened in the forests during the Holocaust, and I'm glad that I'm here. Just sitting under this tree, and I just keep thinking, like, it sounds very egotistical. Just think, like, I'm not waiting in line to get shot, watch my family get shot. I don't wait in line at a dance club. I'm not waiting in line for that. It's unfair of me to think this way. I understand that. But I wonder how many people, not just people I'm with, but them included, but everyone I know in this situation, we're out here in the forest in a big group. An army truck pulls up, soldiers with machine guns. They tell us to line up, strip down, start digging a grave. How many of us do it? And how many of us try to jab a stick in their neck and get shot? I don't know. But that's where my head's at, is a lot of stuff that I do, martial arts and guns and staying in shape and doing stupid ice baths and hill sprints and all that nonsense, and it's to be able to be tough and be strong when the time comes. And I don't know if I would. We all act so cowardly when nothing's on the line, let alone the lives of my boys are on the line. So I don't know what I would do. And that's, I'm thinking about it out loud. So I just wanted to start up the phone just to have this conversation. I was talking to one of my students here about it, and I just came out and sat down and thought about it some more, and I'm just sharing it. That's what I'm thinking, is like, go down swinging, like United 93 compared to the other flights. Once they knew that they were gonna die, then they fought back. They died anyway, but they might have saved lives. Is that the lesson to be extracted from here? One of many? Maybe. What if people in this town, they knew in 1939 that the Nazis were coming? They had 2 years. What were they preparing? I'm preparing by sharpening knives and collecting guns and pressing bullets and making bombs and doing all of that kind of stuff. But again, that's an American martial artist, gun-owning mentality. I don't know. And because I'm such a curious guy, I don't like not knowing. And this is something that I hope I never know. I never want to know what I would do in this situation. So all I can do is prepare for it, prepare for hardships. This is fear. This is the worst. When you're confronted with the worst, what do? That's where my head's at. That's what I've been thinking about. So I just wanted to share it. Here at Treblinka, I kind of hit my my limit, I guess. It's starting to pour rain now. I feel like I kind of hit my limit. I don't know. My emotions are changing now after this morning. Transitioned into watching Escape from Sobibor, I think, on the long bus ride here. And there was a scene of a little boy running from the gas chamber, and he was naked, and they took a dog and sicked it on him, and it ran him down. And another scene where a woman was protecting her baby, and they took the baby, and she was helpless. She had her hands up, just please give me my baby, and took that, and then she was defenseless. And now I'm at a point where I'm very angry, and I keep thinking about people like Tim Kennedy, the former UFC fighter and Army Ranger, who puts this hashtag up, hard to kill, and he's like 3rd-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu and trains in firearm. He's a sniper and all this kind of stuff, and he's always doing deadlifts and things like that. And I'm at that phase now of this. I don't know if this will probably pass, but my phase right now is never be helpless. So that's where I'm at now, and Treblinka is hitting me really hard. It's like a fake train station, and it's only an extermination camp. Only extermination camp. So the 1,000 Sonderkommando that worked here, it was just to dispose of the bodies and usher people in, and keep the machine going. And they killed something like 2,000 people a day here on average. So it's a few hundred away from 9/11 every day for 15 months. But that's where my head's at now, trying to bring you into my headspace from this morning in the forest to now Treblinka. It's a heavy day, and that's where I'm at. I'm just trying to get out of the rain under a tree here. And there's nothing here, by the way. There's just a memorial because the Nazis just destroyed it all when they knew that the Soviets were rolling in, the Allies were rolling in. So there's nothing here. But there was a train station here, essentially, and then a bunch of gas chambers and crematorium, and it just killed people. That's it. And they didn't do the labor themselves. They just forced other Jews to do it. So that's where my head's at. And Treblinka, I'll try and take some pictures, but it's raining pretty hard. I don't want to get my phone ruined. And this is the last camp of the trip. jumping all around, thinking fight bad ideas with good ideas. If that doesn't work, then you fight bad actions with good actions. And if it progresses and the ideas become actions and the actions become force, then you fight bad force with good force. And that's the little wannabe commando in me. And then now I'm going from that to challenging my view on the way that I've thought about God, at least for the past year, since I had a stroke about a year ago and things got really scary for my family, and thinking that God is all good and the bad things that happen to us are about lessons and we can't possibly understand the lessons. The day I went to the ICU, I took my son to the doctor, and he was given a shot, and he looked at me and he started crying, and that was the most pain he's probably ever felt. And he didn't understand it, that it was for his own good. That the hardest things that I've gone through in my life, beautiful things have come from it. That's my experience of the world. It's not everybody's experience. It's my experience from the world. It's the way I try to frame bad experiences. So times I've been sick, times I've lost people, times I've experienced things, good things have come from that, and there's stories that I use to explain this narrative of God to students and to friends, and perhaps it's a metaphorical truth to just think about God this way. It's a better story to believe that God acts this way, that bad things happen for good reasons, and we need to find those good reasons. But I mean, this is just too much. It's too much. Each one of these rocks is supposedly a town. At this scale, I'm searching for the good to come from it. It's testing. And for someone as curious as me, and someone who's always looking for answers and processing and stuff like that, that's where I'm at. I think we're heading out now. This is Treblinka. I'm back at dinner now. Just had like a 2-hour bus ride. Had some good conversation and stuff, but I'm affected today, and I'm not fun. I can't bounce back. I've been bouncing back all week, and I want to kind of sit in this moment because it doesn't happen to me often. It's rare that I'm this affected, this emotional, this sad. It's rare, and I can control my emotions really well. I'm really good at that, and I kind of want to sit in this moment for a little bit. I could get out of it, but I don't want to quite yet. Process it a little bit, and then I'll get out of it. Good morning. It's the last day. I have a few hours. Gonna walk around Warsaw, and see parts of the Warsaw ghetto. There's my view. Feel a little bit back to normal, and we're gonna go. It's my last day. I'm walking around this very old Jewish cemetery now, and it's so interesting how a cemetery like this is like the happiest place that I've come to, you know, because every gravestone here was put up by someone who cared for the person buried beneath. You know, like there's a memorial here. People grieved here, and you didn't see that at the other places. So just spending some time in this old cemetery, and I've never felt less creeped out or safe or secure in a cemetery before, which is interesting, and that's why I wanted to come here and just spend an hour walking around this gigantic cemetery. I've never felt like this in a cemetery before, and I think that says something. So this is the last stop, just real quick. This is the Warsaw Ghetto. It's the biggest ghetto that the Nazis created. Living off of 180 calories a day, people got really desperate, willingly went to camps and things like that. There's not much that stands here. This was the hospital. A lot of it, Warsaw was bombed during the war, but this is the last stop, the Warsaw Ghetto.